Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me here today. If you're new here, this channel is all about homesteading in as frugal a way as possible. We're a large family. We love to grow our own vegetables and fruit. We love foraging. We love getting out in nature. We love preserving and we love doing all of this in as frugal a way as possible. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video, which I'm offering a few more frugal hints and tips. So let's get straight into it. So I do believe I've said this previously, but I will say it again. Another way that we really like to save money is by taking flowers from my garden or foliage or something. I love having fresh flowers in my home. And I haven't been able to really do it here since we've been undergoing renovations. I haven't sort of had the desire to do it, as it's been a bit of a building site here for some time. Anyway, things are sort of started to look a bit better, and I've wanted to start bringing flowers in again. So if you've got a garden, I'm sure there'll be stuff you can cut to bring into the house. So in here I've got a bit of foliage. This has had it now really, so it's just going to be going out. But I had a viburnum there that looked lovely. There's a forsythia there. There's some flowering currant and some daffodils. And yeah, I just cut a few and I bring them inside, and it's just a lovely way of extending the sort of enjoyment of the garden by bringing it in. So yeah, another tip, don't buy the flowers, get them from your garden. Another tip, talking of gardening, is seeds. I have a lot of seeds. And to be fair, I have too many. So one thing I'm determined to do this year is to take advantage of seed swaps. I know I've probably missed some, but I'm going to ask around friends and see if they've got any seeds they want to swap with me. I might ask on social media, and just ask, if I've got too many beans, maybe I can swap them for some peas from somebody else or something like that. I just think it's a really good way of making sure we don't waste our seeds. Particularly if things do get a bit tricky going forward with the food situation, seeds may become harder to get hold of. So I think we really need to take care and not waste seeds. So yeah, definitely try and do some swapsies. I think that's what we used to call it when we were younger, when we were trying to swap things out of our lunchbox or something. We'd say, do you want a swapsie? Perhaps that could be a new thing, swapsie seed day. I don't know. But yeah, swap your seeds. So on another note, believe it or not, this is a way of saving money. You wonder how? I'll let you know. So basically, what you saw is a set of wheels, and I needed some because we've got a piano that needs moving. I investigated how much it would cost to buy a set of those, and they're quite expensive. And then I thought, actually, I bet a friend has got some I could use. And thankfully, a colleague of mine had some. Yeah, so I'm borrowing those. And that brings me on to the tip of borrow tools or appliances, whatever you can, from friends, neighbours, family. Ask around. Don't go out and buy it or hire it until you've asked around to see if you've got some you can borrow. Because I bet you those wheels, for instance, they probably just sit there, and they were probably only used once or twice. So by him loaning them to me, it's been so helpful for me. It's really important to be able to share things we've got. So if we've got something that somebody wants to borrow, we can loan it to them. And likewise, if they've got something for me. That also comes to bartering, I suppose. You can offer services to people in return for something, maybe to save a bit of money. So I don't know, maybe you see somebody that's got a tree with a load of apples that are all falling and they're not collecting them. Maybe you could offer to pick all the apples up and tidy it up for the person, and in return to get a basket of apples. Or if you cut someone's lawn, maybe they can give you the grass clippings for your garden. I don't know. There's all these different things that we can do and share our resources, our time, to help one another out. So I definitely think that's a really, really important tip. A friend of mine has arranged a work party to be carried out at my home in a couple of weeks' time. And I just think, how amazing is that? I'm so excited about it, to have people that are willing to give their time to come and help my family out. And I just think it's going to be fantastic, and then we can do it for other people, and it's a really great time of fellowship, really great way to get to know people, and help each other out. I do think in this world we are so busy and frenetic, and a lot of the time isolated in our sort of, once we close that front door, we're in our little bubbles, and if we want something, we can order it at the click of a button. We don't need to have people if we don't want them. But actually, I really do believe we do need people to support us and help us out. So yeah, definitely try organising work parties. It'd be amazing what could be achieved. Imagine if everyone did that everywhere around the world, what people could achieve and get done. And you pick up skills as well, because there'll be people obviously with different skills that you can then learn, and then it just is something I think we've lost, definitely. I know. So one of the things that we like to do is grow fruits and veg, as you know. One of the things we like to do is reuse plastic containers. These are just fruit punnets from the supermarket. And we have sown our seeds in here, and we have also, I don't know if you can see our plant label, that came from chopping up a milk carton. So we've reused the plastic punnet, we've reused the milk carton. What we could do is use another plastic punnet on top as a little cloche, but I just happen to have this one, popping that over it. And we've done that for nothing basically, apart from the compost. So that's a really good thing to do. You can use yogurt pots, milk cartons, ice cream containers, any old plastic containers are really useful to be able to use to save buying plant pots. So I just wanted to touch a little bit on food. So as you know, I like to build up a fairly reasonable pantry. It has been more difficult recently with the prices of things. But what we've done recently is we have changed a little bit how we're eating. Obviously, we've got various canned goods and things, but less and less of those. We didn't have a terribly successful year with the garden, but we weren't really on it, to be honest. So that's something we obviously want to put right this year. So what we've started doing is we're eating a lot more simply. We have found that seems to be the best way that we can keep our costs down. So we're eating week in, week out, we are pretty much eating the same meals at the moment. It makes it easy for ordering. I know exactly what I'm doing, and I know how I can stretch that particular meal and things like that. So it's just about keeping our costs down meal-wise. It's not that dull. I think they're quite tasty meals that we're cooking. We've made a few little adaptations. One of them, I've always been a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't like to give my children lots of sweet treats, but if I do, obviously they can have fruit, but they usually have fruit with their breakfast. They have it during the day at school and things. So in the evenings particularly, they don't want fruit necessarily, but they would like some sort of sweet thing. To be honest, I've been buying a packet of biscuits, a cheap packet of biscuits that I know they like, and they're really happy with that as a snack, and for pennies, because they're usually about 45-50 pence. For, I think you get about 12 to 15 biscuits depending on what you go for, and that can last a few days, possibly 2 or 3 days, and it's literally cost pennies to give them a snack. So I really think it's something that I think a lot of us overlook with a biscuit for a snack. I think we sometimes think we have to give them some brightly packaged, fun-looking snack, but we don't. Give them something like that that's, to be fair, it's not that good for them, is it really? So why spend a load of money on it? You might as well give them just something like that, and spend more money if you want on the fruit or something that is healthy. But yeah, when it comes to the rest of our meals, we are eating simply. I keep saying it and I haven't done it yet, but I really ought to do a video of what we eat in a week, because I'm quite proud of myself, to be fair, of how we stretch the food, that we eat reasonably healthily on a low budget. Back on the food, and if many of you will recall my boiled egg thing that I did, where I would cook a boiled egg and then the water from the boiled egg I'd use in a hot water bottle. I've recently discovered another way that I can make a boiled egg for even cheaper. So what I do, so when I make a cup of tea or something, I'll boil an extra cup. Usually this is to take to work. I love to take a boiled egg to work. So I'll boil an extra cup and I'll put it in one of these flasks and I'll put my egg inside the flask to take to work. And pretty much by lunchtime, that's cooked my egg. You have to make sure you've got a really, really good cup. This one isn't so good. I do have another one that's a much better thermos one that I tend to use. It's just I happen to have this one to hand. But yeah, these thermos little cups that we have, I put it in there. It stops my egg from smashing on the way to work because it's in liquid, and it's in there. So all I've paid for is the boiling of the kettle. So another little tip. It does cause much amusement at work, but I think other people have taken on the same, other people have tried the same experiment. Occasionally, depending on the size of the egg, or if it was really cold, I've had to top it up with water. But generally, if you make sure the egg is at room temperature, you put it in there with your boiling water, get the lid on straight away, it should be cooked by lunchtime. Not lunchtime, sorry, by break time. So this is what time, by about 11, quarter to 11 in the morning. That's when I like to have my egg. There we go. So one of the other things that I like to do is I really like to get a really expensive look for next to nothing. Now, one thing I've seen recently is these sink tidies, where everyone's using these brown bottles, and I really like it. I love this colour glass. So I thought, how can I do this for next to nothing? So what I've done is I've gone around looking, whenever I've been out, for reasonably priced soaps or bottles that are brown, that have got something in them. And I'm buying those and using those instead. And then when they're empty, I can take the labels off and I can refill it with my favourite washing up liquid and soap. Because in this one's got washing up liquid and this one's soap. And it looks really great. Equally, instead of buying a sink tidy, I thought, how can I do that? And I found I had a little dish that I just had sitting in the cupboard that I very rarely use. And I thought, you know what? That's perfect. It sits perfectly in there. I don't get any drips on my counter. And it looks really good. And that cost me nothing virtually. Also, one of the things that I like to do is whenever anybody uses my sink, so this is another tip, I want to keep it looking nice. So I keep a microfiber cloth right next to the sink. So whenever we use it, we literally just wipe, because this is a wooden work surface. We wipe around. I do that every time. I might just move that actually. We wipe around the wood because I want to prolong the life of this, and just by having something like this, it makes sense really. Equally, when it comes to the dishwasher, which is right next to it, I'll just move you down here. Yeah, so I've got the dishwasher here, a microfiber cloth. Whenever I empty it, I take the microfiber cloth around the edges, partially to dry it, just to make sure there's no extra moisture, but also to clean it, just in case there's any food spillages or anything that I've got down these sides. Because I want this to last, and I don't want it to look disgusting, because dishwashers, to be fair, they do get a bit yucky after a while. But I want it to look good. So I'm just wiping around. There you go, a few more hints and tips from me. So until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.